This one is going to be called An Overview of the Historical Origins of Christianity, and with that I give you back Dr. Walter Williams.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm back now, and we had a little break, and I hope everybody got refreshed, and now we're going to settle in on our second lecture. I want to give some thanks to people like Brother Shabazz and his wife, Jamila, again for bringing me to New York. And I also want to give thanks for my wife, Arnetta, for preparing me to come here and be my companion while I'm here.
That's right.
But one of the main things is that I can't stay.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much. But while here in New York, I can't stay. My wife and I, we can't stay in the streets, right?
That's right.
So therefore, we have two gracious hosts and hostesses in the name of Lady Brown and Clinton Brown. So we have to point out the kindness of the Browns for having us as guests in their home. Okay, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. I want to give a short overview. I didn't intend to talk as long as I did on the first lecture, but you know how you get carried away and you get caught up. You just continue, you know, and then I'm long-winded anyway. Okay? So I'm going to give you a short overview on Christianity. The next time that I'm invited back to New York by Brother Shabazz,
That's right.
and his wife, Jamila, I'm going to be prepared to give a lecture, a full lecture on the historical origin of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism.
All right.
Okay? But I'm going to start off doing that. I'm not going to put that last, and then start a lecture and then be tired. You know. So anyway, I want to, give you an overview on Christianity because our people, our African people, are hung up and caught up in these various religions, as we mentioned before in the first lecture. So I want to bring out some historical facts about these various religions. And the very first religion is Christianity. Okay? That's our very first religion that was created by man. And the people who created the religion called Christianity, and the people who created this image, this is a created creature, never existed. So it's very important to know that. Another thing I want to bring out, the importance of the polemic. The word polemic means argument. This argument over the human nature of this created creature known to us today as Jesus the Christ. This argument went on for 921 years, whether this thing here that we call Jesus the Christ had a human nature or not. 921 years. But see, no one is telling you that. But I wrote this book for one race of people, African people, living in America and throughout the world. This is a message in here for you. Okay? And I wrote it not to sell to the world. I wrote this book for you, information for our African community. Okay? And I don't make a living selling books. I don't make a living writing books. That's not how I make my living. Okay? I don't make a living giving lectures. I used to have an ancient Egyptian museum for 11 years in Chicago. I sold the building and put the artifacts into storage in the year 2001. Okay, so we're going to do something else with the ancient Egyptian artifacts that I have. It's going into another museum to resurrect the ancient Egyptians. Okay? So I'm serious and sincere. Okay? I will tell you the truth and bring the facts with the truth. People ask me, saying, what is the truth? Truth is very wide. I mean, it can be interpreted by people in general. But in the first lecture, I gave you the truth. You know what the truth is? You are the truth. Every human being on earth is the truth. You walk around with the truth inside of you. That's your spirituality. So therefore, you can't deny that. There's no argument over that. So in my writings and research, I try to look for the truth. I always go and look for the origin of a subject. Like I told one young man this evening, go and find the origin of that subject. And when you do that, you will be laying a foundation of understanding about that subject, what you're talking about, whatever the subject may be. If you don't know the origin of it, then you don't know the subject. And you have to know dates. Dates are very important, like I teach my students. If you want to be a scholar, a historian, you have to know dates. Very simple. If you don't know dates, you're no historian. Then you're just talking barbershop talk, pool room talk. I ain't talking outside of your neck. See? Because if you tell me so-and-so, I say, okay, what date was that? You say, well, I don't know. Then you don't know the subject. Okay? Come and tell, well, the documents, they found documents that said something. Okay, what alphabet was the document written in? I don't know. Then how can you bring this to me? Know something. So in this book, in each book, I put, as I end my writings, I always bring you facts, which are stronger than argument. This is what was told to me many years ago about facts. I was told that facts is stronger than argument, more dependable than opinions, more profound than reasoning, silences dispute, supersedes predictions and facts, always in the argument. You bring facts, that's it, it's over. See, there's no more arguing over the facts. See, then you don't understand the facts. See, so today, this evening, I'm going to bring you some facts concerning Christianity and this image that we know today as Jesus Christ. Now, I've been studying for over 30 years now. And when I first began to study, let me back up a little bit. See, I used to be a professional jazz musician. I used to play the saxophone. You know, Charlie Parker and Sonny Stitt, those are my guys. I used to play bebop, you know, one of the bebop. I had my little tam on, you know, had my axe, you know, going to the gig, you know. Hey, that was the time. But anyway, I met a musician, which was old enough to be my father at the time, right out of high school, by the name of Sun Ra. Sun Ra used to live in New York. But I didn't play that out of space music now. We played contemporary jazz, all the things you are, what is this thing called Love, Stardust, Embraceable Youth, songs like that. So we used to go up on the 4th floor. He had an apartment up there on the 4th floor in the building in Chicago. So all the young cats, I was right out of high school, all the young cats used to go up there and listen to Sun Ra philosophize from early, in the evening to early in the morning. You know, I was in trouble many mornings coming home to my mother. Boy, where you been? I've been worried about you. Bam! You know. But anyway, what he told us, Sun Ra said that we were descendants of the greatest people that has ever lived on planet Earth, known to us today in history as ancient Egyptians. Now, out of high school, you know, the school system don't teach us that. They teach us away from ancient Egypt. Isn't that something? I found that out through Sun Ra. You see? So, long story short, I get married. my wife and I took a trip to Italy, and they were showing us through Italy some of their ruins and the supposed history and so forth and so on. And I was feeling very bad because I didn't have anything to show the world as a Negro, okay? Until the tour guide said on the wrong bus, said, and when the Romans went to Egypt to receive their civilization. I said, uh-oh, big light bulb illuminated inside of me. I said, my goodness, if these Europeans went to Egypt to receive their civilization, and I was told that I was descendant of the ancient Egyptians, then I should know something about it. Huh? So what I did, when I got back to America, I went and got me a magnifying glass and every pictorial book on ancient Egypt that I could find. And what I was looking for through my magnifying glass was to look at all of those depictions that saying that these are ancient Egyptians. And I wanted to find out whether these depictions look like me and look like you. And once I was convinced of that, that's where I started my studies. Now, let's move on, okay? If you want to clap, it's okay. So, then I began to look for any book or books that had history attached to it. Any book. You know, I was just like a fiend. And books was coming everywhere. Because, well, see, your mind is very, very powerful. Okay? Whatever you put up here that you want to attract in your life, it'll come. Because like attracts like. You see? You know, one time, my wife and I, we collect antiques. Okay? And I was, at one time, let's say for instance, antique rugs. Rugs was coming out of everywhere. Because I had put it in my mind. I ended up with about 22 Oriental, not Oriental, but rugs. You know, old antique rugs and things. Good condition and so forth and so on. So I'm just showing you how your mind can attract whatever you put in it, you know. So these history books are just coming into my life. And I'm studying, you know. And you have to study the subject until you get a foundation and a concept. See, like other young musicians just come to me and say, hey man, I want to play jazz. I said, okay, what instrument you play? Well, I play the trumpet. I said, who you want to play like? I want to play like Dizzy Gillespie. Well, then you get every Dizzy Gillespie record that you can find. And listen to nobody but Dizzy Gillespie until you get a concept of what he's doing. And then after you get that concept and get you a foundation inside of you, then you can listen to any type of music because you know what they're doing, because you have a foundation. So I had to do the same thing in studying history, you know. And a young man came to my museum, and I was telling him about some things that he was bringing to me. I said, well, historically that's not correct. So he was frustrated, so he ran home and got a great big old box of books. And he came in and he dropped them at my feet. He said, now which one of these books should I read? I said, you take all these books and throw them out. I said, and I told him what to do to begin his studies. I said, then you can go back. Once you get your concept and your foundation in you, of understanding what you are trying to achieve, then you can go back and read those books and you know exactly what's in them. See, I can pick up a book and look at the table of contents. I can tell you whether the book has any value or whether I'm wasting my time. So anyway, I was down one day in the studio of one of my high school musician friends. We all came out of DuSable High School. He was teaching a saxophone lesson. He's a saxophone player. He's still playing music. And he had a shelf full of books. So while waiting for him to teach his student and finish up with his student, I went over to his bookshelf and I picked up a book called The Outline of History. And when I picked that book up, see, this is all pertaining to how I got to discover. See, I didn't set out to discover and prove that there was no Jesus Christ. That's not my intent. That wasn't my intent. I had no idea that there was no Jesus Christ. I had no idea it was that. Okay? Because I had believed that there was a Jesus Christ. But even though my family were not staunch Christians. I went to church one time that I can remember as a boy. And my mother and I went to the church, and that minister, old Reverend Chicken Wing, he said, and God wants you. And I jumped up and ran out of the church. And my mother ran out, my heart was beating, and I'm sweating, and the candle, she, never went back since. You okay? Because it frightened me. And I want God to want me. It may kill me. Getting back to how I came about the understanding of learning what the history of Christianity was about. So I picked this book up called The Outline of History by H.G. Wells. And next time I come, I'll bring that book.
Yes.
And I opened up the page to that book, and I saw as the Savior. I said, what? I said, this is the same attributes that they give to this Jesus the Christ. Then it went on to say that he raises the dead. I said, what? Raises the dead? I said, this is the same attributes that they give to this Jesus the Christ. Then it says that even after death, you will always be in his presence. Don't Reverend Chicken Wing tell you all that at these funerals? Huh? Say, old Moses gone on to be with the Lord. Huh? You see? So I said, these are the same attributes that they're given to this Jesus the Christ. I said, wow. I said, what's going on here? So it says Serapis. And I put a tracer. I was focusing in on Serapis only through study. And I began to research Serapis. And I found out that this Serapis was given to the successor of Alexander the Greek. I can give you the Greek, that's the best I can do for him. Okay? Not the great. And when Alexander came into Egypt, I'm going to tell you how it started. He is the first known European to come into the continent of Africa in Egypt. Historically known. Okay? He came in 332 BCE. Didn't have to have an army to invade. You know why? Because the ancient Egyptians never had an army. Nor did they have jails. Didn't have no jails. Civilized people don't have armies and jails. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Only corrupt people have jails. If you have a corrupt government, quite naturally the people living in the secular community are going to be corrupt. So when they get out of line, you put them in jail. Okay? And you have an army. What is your army for? To go around and terrorize other people around the world. Rape their women, take their land, steal from them, kill them, take their resources, everything. That's what you need an army for. Okay? Now, anybody seen the picture, the movie called Alexander? If you go to see Alexander, my wife and I, we went to see Alexander. It's a funny thing about Alexander, that movie. They showed Alexander killing, robbing, stealing, all throughout the movie. And they only talk about Alexander going into Egypt. They never showed Alexander coming into Egypt. You know why? First, if it showed Alexander coming into Egypt, they would have had to show Africans in Egypt. They didn't want to do that. Secondly, they would have showed that the ancient Egyptians had no army. You see? A civilized people, the ancient Egyptians, civilized this whole entire world of all races. Creeds and color are using the civilization and the culture of the ancient Egyptian, right? At this very moment that I'm talking to you. You cannot go around to civilize other people throughout the world and then bust them upside their head at the same time. And rape their women at the same time. And plunder their land. And steal from them and lie and cheat. You can't do that. You're out of cosmic order. Okay? You're out of cosmic order. You're out of cosmic order when you embrace a religion. You're out of tune with cosmic order. You see that? Wow. We have to bring balance back to this world. And we're the only people on earth that can do that. Bring balance. No other race of people can do that because we are the Pied Pipers of the world. The world is following this American African Negro who's been trained to call himself a Negro, black, and African American. The world is following us. If we turn our caps backwards, they do it too. They don't know why we're doing it. They're following us. Okay? When we do the lecture slide, they're out there doing the lecture slide too. You see? So when we rap, they're out there trying to rap too. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. When we hip hop, they wear them old baggy bitches and showing the crack of their behind. They don't know what they're doing. They're following this Negro. See, we're the Pied Pipers. See? And then they have a television program that comes on every Saturday. Okay? And what's the name of it now? Soul Train. Soul Train. They have Soul Train to teach white people and the other races of people how to dance. Why do you think that? Why do you think it's been on so long? Look, Don Cornelius got so old his face dropped. Okay? And he's going to retirement. Soul Train is still on. White folks, they're out there every weekend trying to learn the latest dance because we change dances on them every week. 1 week we're killing roaches. Kill that roach, squish, squash, you know. Next week we're doing the boogaloo, you know. So they can't keep up with us. So they do that by way of Soul Train. See? So when you embrace a religion, I have to interject all this stuff. It's all basically the same thing. When you embrace a religion, you're out of tune with cosmic world order. We're the only people that can bring balance back to the world. Okay? Only people. Okay? So